Good day. I'm Gary Franchi, Next News Network Chief White House Correspondent, delivering the latest White House news from the past 24 hours in partnership with our streaming ally, Trump Daily Post. Now, this hour begins with a major diplomatic win for President Trump, a high-level meeting with French President Emmanuel Macron that the White House is highlighting for breakthroughs on Iran, rapid progress towards the full reopening of the Strait of Hormuz, and fresh momentum on the ending of the Russia-Ukraine war. We'll also bring you the president's travel movements into Geneva and France, along with a quick look at his public appearance from last night's UFC event. Now, President Trump's meeting with President Macron clearly dominated the last 24 hours, with the White House emphasizing what it described as America First diplomacy delivering results. President Trump said, quote, "Emmanuel has been a special friend of mine. We've had a special relationship. We've worked on many deals together, and I'm happy to say that the deal is all signed." He also said, and the strait is already partially opened. As you know, they are doing a little hunting for a couple mines that they've already found, adding essentially ships are already starting to go out now. And on Friday, it will be completely opened. From the pool report on the bilateral meeting, President Trump said that the Strait of Hormuz would be fully reopened by Friday, and pointed to broader gains from the agreement. He said, "I think a lot of great things are going to happen in the Middle East now. Very importantly, the oil is plummeting down and the stock market is shooting up like a rocket today." President Trump also underscored that any sanctions relief remain behavior-based, saying if they do what they're supposed to do, that would take effect. The president described Iran's current leadership as, quote, "very smart, strong, and very smart." And he also said we ended up making a deal. He also contrasted the coming document with the previous Iran framework, saying, "I wanted it to be released because it's a really powerful document. It's not like the Obama documents." On regional security, President Trump said that France could play a supporting role in keeping shipping lanes secure, and added on Lebanon and Hezbollah, "We do want to see if we can strengthen the Lebanon thing. Hezbollah, we have to have a little talk with them." President Trump also signaled that with the Iran file moving forward, the administration is turning hard towards another peace effort. He said, "We had a very good conversation yesterday with President Zelensky and President Putin, and I see maybe we can do something there. I really do think. I think they're both open to it. Now that it's finished, we're going to be focusing on that and see if we can get that one done." End quote. The White House pool also noted that a lighter moment during the Trump-Macron appearance, when President Trump congratulated Macron over a major French sports victory, calling it one of the more exciting recent evenings, and joking that for some, it may have mattered even more than the World Cup. And from the travel pool, Air Force One touched down at Geneva Airport at 3:56 p.m. local time. Traveling with the president were top administration officials, including Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, and Ambassador Jamieson Greer, along with senior White House staff. The White House pool said the president was greeted in Geneva by Swiss Confederation President Guy Parmelin, Ambassador Callista Gingrich, former Speaker Newt Gingrich, and Swiss protocol officials, underscoring the diplomatic weight of the visit. President Trump disembarked Air Force One at about 4:14 p.m. local time, greeted officials briefly, and then boarded Marine One to continue the trip. Now, Marine One landed at 4:44 local time in Avion-les-Bains, France, where the president was met by Ambassador Charles Kushner. Now, the motorcade rolled to the Hotel Royal Evian ahead of the bilateral meeting with President Macron, the central diplomatic event of the day. The White House says that today's schedule is centered on executive time and follow-up meetings tied to Iran deal implementation, Strait of Hormuz coordination, Middle East developments, and possible Ukraine talks. No major public events were listed, although the guidance left open the possibility of evening statements related to the Strait timeline or release of the Memorandum of Understanding. Turning briefly to last night, Sunday evening, the pool report, President Trump did attend that UFC event, historic moment, where a 12-jet flyover took place during the national anthem shortly after his arrival. The pool said the president was seated alongside the First Lady Melania Trump and Dana White, while a watch party on the ellipse responded with strong enthusiasm. During a later break, Mark Zuckerberg was seen in conversation with President Trump before a group photo, and the White House also highlighted Medal of Honor recipients and first responders who escorted fighters during the event. One post-fight moment, the pool reported that fighter Josh Hockett made it a controversial remark about Michelle Obama being a man after praising President Trump. The report stated the crowd reaction was difficult to gauge and did not detail any reaction from the president. The pool separately reported that Hockett presented a chain to President Trump after the win, an exchange captured by White House aide Margot Martin. And during a later bout between American Sean O'Malley and Canadian Zahabi, President Trump put on a white USA hat as military attendees chanted USA, USA. The pool reported that the president applauded O'Malley's win and that Barron Trump was actively greeting guests approaching the president. Final pool update noted that a B-1 bomber conducted another flyover downtown Washington late Sunday night. So that's the White House daily rundown, a day defined by President Trump's direct diplomacy with France, a concrete timetable for reopening the Strait of Hormuz, market-friendly signs of lower oil and stronger stocks, and a new push towards peace talks on Ukraine, all while the president maintained a visible public presence at home and abroad. Stay with us now as we have more news ahead.